I suppose I would say to you, allow those moments to simply be. Don't fall into the trap of making it mean something about you. And also, be willing to allow the fullness of money to flow into your life. Welcome to the Manifesting Millions podcast, where we talk about manifestation, money, and practical guidance to creating your dream reality. My name is Amy Van Meel, and I am an experienced coach and transformation guide, obsessed with helping you get out of your own way and create a life that blows your mind each day you wake up. My goal in this podcast is to share practical manifestation, self-awareness, and growth techniques in real talk conversations. So if you're ready to massively transform your reality, your finances, your relationships, and your overall enjoyment of life, you are in the right place. I am absolutely delighted that you're here with me today, babe. Let's get into it. Hello, my loves, and welcome back to the podcast. I am still feeling a little bit of the effects of a bit of a cold, so you'll hear my voice is a little smokier again this week, and I will endeavor to make sure that I hit pause before any coughing begins so that you don't have to listen to me coughing on the podcast. This week, I wanted to talk about if I had only 15 minutes to tell somebody all that I wanted to share about money, what would I say? What is it that I would share? What is it that would flow through me and channel through me and absolutely need to be expressed so that I could download the wisdom and the knowledge that I have built, that I have gained, that I have earned, that I have embodied, and impart it, give it as a gift to somebody to make their life better and richer and more abundant. So I have no notes for today. And as you may hear from both the cadence of my words and the tone of my voice, this is a slightly different episode than usual because I am opening myself up to channeling this full message through. If I only had 15 minutes to tell you all that I wanted you to know about money, here's what I would tell you. It's okay to want money. It is okay to go after it, to feel a sense of drive for it, to desire it and enjoy it and appreciate it. And then none of this makes you greedy or selfish or bad or shallow. It's just you expressing a desire. And that desire is no different than if you desired to have a piece of chocolate cake or to go for a walk on a sunny day or to feel deep, lasting, and true love in your life. I would tell you that money is a tool. Money is also energy. And money is also this effervescent thing that we try to define by looking at it as dollars and cents. We try to understand it by seeing it as cash or as numbers in our bank account. And yet it's more than that. And I know that it's more than that because there are roses that are sitting on my desk right now that my husband brought home for me yesterday. And they're just roses. They're beautiful red blooms. They smell amazing. They are also a symbol of his love. They're a symbol of something really amazing that exists in the world. They're more than just a rose. He didn't come home with a bundle of sticks. He didn't come home with a bag of rocks. He came home with roses. Money is kind of like that. It's this bubbly, intangible thing. There are tangible aspects of it, but it's more than that. And kind of like how, some people will look at a rose and not feel anything. And some people will look at a rose and feel sorrow or anger or hatred or apathy. And some people will look at a rose and see joy and love and abundance and health and wealth. Money is the same. Everybody sees it and experiences it differently. I suppose I would tell you that however you choose to see and experience money in your life, it's okay. I know that we're taught so many conflicting things about money. If you were someone who'd never existed on this planet and had no concept of anything even remotely like money, you would probably be confused to know that at the same time as we are taught to pursue wealth and that having money is important, we're also taught that money isn't everything, that going after money makes you greedy and selfish and bad. We're taught that being in debt is a bad thing, but we also revere businesses and financial leaders for using capital to build and grow, which is no different than leveraging debt. I think I would tell you that money is like a really cool way to receive some reflections. Our soul didn't come here into this human form that we exist in just to be and struggle and, breathe. Our soul came here to experience the fullness of life. And even though our soul has this like incomprehensible fullness and awareness and this like ability to just know in this way that like our human brain will never fully be able to understand. Our soul came into this human experience for the experience. And money is part of that. Love is part of that. Life is part of that. I think I would tell you that I desire for you to experience the fullness of money, that you have experiences of struggle and scarcity and lack in your life, only because it builds an awareness and an appreciation for both what money is and what it isn't, for what money can and cannot give to you, and as a way to experience the fuller aspect of life. I've been quietly writing a book that has been showing itself to me, revealing itself to me a little bit at a time. And I was sitting yesterday writing a chapter that I've loosely got titled Hungry for Money, Hungry for Abundance. And I found myself wondering if there is a desire in me to feel broke. Is there a desire in me to want to extend my stay in financial struggle? And that doesn't make any sense, right? When we think about it logically, it doesn't make any sense. As I was putting away some laundry and I was thinking about what I was writing, I suddenly had this question come to me that said, what would I miss when this is no longer my experience? What is it that I will miss? And I thought back to times in my life where things just felt like they fucking sucked. Where I was working 54 hours straight in the design studio, finishing off my studio project in order to be able to present it to graduate from my degree. Nothing about that at the time seemed fun or like anything that I would miss. I thought about my Sunfire that I had for so many years. I was so proud when I first got it. And then people in life reflected to me that this was not an acceptable or desirable means of transportation for a designer. And in the end, I had the tiniest of accidents, like a ridiculous tiny little rear end, but it crumpled the hood of my car ever so slightly. And in the last year or so, however long I had it afterwards, I just kept dreaming of, having a new car, having my dream car. What would that feel like? And how I wouldn't miss driving around in this car with automatic with manual crank windows and no air conditioning and no cruise control and none of the things that I desired. And then I found myself reflecting about this and going, I don't miss working 54 hours straight in the studio, but I do miss the camaraderie in being in the studio. And, there were maybe 20 other people there with me at 3 a.m., all working on their projects. And someone might come by as they're having a snack or just need a break or need to take some steps to keep themselves from falling asleep and would come say hi and check in and see how the project was progressing and just kind of chat. And this unspoken connection, for being there at 3 a.m., possibly the second night in a row, trying to finish what we had set out to do. I found myself thinking about that Sunfire that I was so proud to have paid for. And until somebody told me that it wasn't acceptable, I was so proud of it. It didn't occur to me to be ashamed of it. I thought about, a hot sunny day where I had the windows all rolled down and I was driving on the highway and my hair was blowing in the wind and I was singing along at the top of my lungs to whatever I had on the stereo, and I had a really fucking good stereo. I don't want for anybody to struggle and feel lack and scarcity with money for very long. It's why I do the work that I do. It's why I have the Building Vampires program. It's why I am sharing the series of the 5 energies of money starting next week. It's why I can't help but talk about money. But there is something that nothing else can give you. There's nothing else that can give you the experience of scarcity and lack that comes specifically through money and finances. And if I only had 15 minutes to share, I suppose I would say to you, allow those moments to simply be. Don't fall into the trap of making it mean something about you. And also be willing to allow the fullness of money to flow into your life, that you don't restrict yourself or are only willing to tolerate feeling broke or feeling lack or feeling scarcity or feeling struggle, but you're willing to be open and vulnerable to experiencing abundance, to allowing yourself to fully desire money in a joyful and meaningful way, to allow yourself to be open to all the amazing experiences that money can make possible for you. And at the end of the day, to understand there is no one thing that we are here to experience. We are here to experience the fullness of all of it: love and joy, fun and happiness and health and abundance and overflow, and also struggle and sadness and sickness and anger, hatred and lack and neutrality. None of these experiences are bad. Some are more desirable than others. And I suppose I would finish our 15 minutes together by saying, allow the fullness of it to open up for you, because the journey is pretty amazing. I know this week's podcast episode is rather different from probably every other podcast episode that I've ever put out. I want to finish today by simply sharing that, as I mentioned, starting next week, I'll be sharing the 5 energies of money as a series. There's 2 things to know about that series. One is that I'll be sharing the first part of every episode here on the Manifesting Millions podcast. And the second thing is to say that the second half of each episode will be available only by registering for the private podcast feed that I've set up specifically for this 5 Energies of Money series. So here's how it's going to look. The first half that will be shared on the podcast here is we're going to talk about what the energy is, what it looks like, how it can show up in our life. And then I am going to be sharing on the private feed how we can shift low frequency energy and how we can maintain higher frequency energy, why it's important. And I'll share neuroscience, psychology, experimentation, and just wisdom, all on the fullness of the episode, which you can access. You can register for it now so that you won't miss a moment by going to amyvanmeal.com/money5. I'm going to share the URL in the show notes. If you are listening to this at any point later on, so the series is going to air, I believe it starts October 16th. Yes, starting October 16th, and it will go for 5 weeks. It is all part of the launch for the very last enrollment of the Building Vampires program. Enrollment for that program is going to open on November 4th, and it will be the last time that I offer enrollment for this program this year. So if you are ready to really change how you experience money, change how you understand money, and change how money exists in your life, then this program is for you. If you feel ready for it, if you feel called into it, I can hardly wait to welcome you into the program. I am toying with making this the first ever live version of the program. And by that, I mean that I'll be potentially hosting a couple of live Q&As. Stay tuned on that. I'm just kind of having a look over the commitments that I have, because I want to make sure that if I offer this live container, that I am able to fully sustain and show up for you in the best and fullest way. Again, all that to say, Building Vampires is opening for enrollment on November 4th. However, the 5 Energies of Money podcast series will be starting next week. And if you're listening to this at some point in the future, which is way past October 16th in 2024, you can still register for that limited series by going to amyvanmeal.com/money5. Thanks so much for joining me this week. I'll catch you later. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. If you loved what you heard today, be sure to share it with me by leaving a review on your favorite podcast platform and help me reach more like-minded people who are ready to expand their life. If you haven't yet followed me on social media, find me on Instagram for extra love and inspiration by following @amyvanmeal or visit my website at amyvanmeal.com. I love you so much, babe, and I am damn proud of you. I am already excited to connect in the next episode. And in the meantime, believe in yourself with the confidence of a 5-year-old.